Gold's in the follow-up. That's what I was told when I got started in wholesaling by all these education groups, the real estate investor meetups, the masterminds I was a part of, by my colleagues. The gold is in the follow-up. And it never set right with me. When if I were honest with myself, it just never suited my personality. Like when you think about what you're saying that where your money lies is more time elapsing, accepting failure over and over and over again. That's where you can make your money. What I mean by that is when I think about winning the day, just released that video this past week. If you haven't watched it, watch that video. What is a goal that you're setting for yourself? It should be at minimum to get a contract. It's what we do. Wholesalers, if you don't have a contract, you don't have a product to monetize and you can't make money. So every single day, I want to get a property under contract. So if I'm not getting a property under contract, then I'm failing. So then you reverse it into that even further. And every single time I'm on the phone with a seller, my goal should be, if it is the right property for us and there is motivation and they need to sell the house on a discount, the goal should be to close the deal and get the property under contract. Not to not close the deal and continue to call them and have the same conversation over and over and over again and follow up. That to me is failure. And I say this not just speaking from myself. I say this from the fact that I have had the honor and the opportunity to coach literally thousands of people at this point. I have gotten to employ and hire hundreds of people at this point. I've seen people come in and out of Titanium Investments. And I've seen the stories that we tell ourselves about how we won the day because we had quality conversations with people that did not lead to contracts. If it doesn't lead to a contract, then you didn't win. It is a failure. Because that's the only two options. It's either a win or it's a loss. This is the new mindset that I want everybody to have. It's the mindset that I have. It's the mindset that Titanium Investments has. And it's the mindset that Titanium University is going to have. You either win the day or you lose the day. It's the same thing. I'm on the phone with a seller. If that is a closable deal, then the goal, the objective of that call is to close it. Now, here's all of the objections that I'm sure we're going to get in the comments, okay? If they make it all the way to the 4th minute of this video before they start commenting, well, what about the sellers that don't need to sell right now? They don't need to sell for 6 months. Or maybe there's a situation as to why they can't sign the contract. There's all sorts of excuses plus a story, right? As to why the gold's in the follow-up. But let me tell you, there are solutions to those problems. Do you know how many times a seller has told me, I don't want to sell right now. I'll sell 4 months from now. And right out of the gates, I just say, that's fine. We can set the closing date for 4 months from now. That's perfectly fine. That's one of the benefits of going with us, is we can close on your timeline. See, I leverage that excuse, that objection, into being a selling point, a benefit to signing a contract with me right now. You don't have to worry about finding a buyer over the next 4 months when you're ready. Let's do it right now. I'm your guy. I'm your solution. I'm a problem solver. My job is to solve your problem so I can win my day. Not, let's put you on a follow-up sequence, Let's have AI send you some text messages. Let's put you on an email drip. Let's have a follow-up manager, a lead manager, a virtual assistant, whatever all the bullshit is that people do to make them feel busy inside of their wholesale business. We eliminate that here at Titanium, and we just say, let's win the day. Either we're going to get told no, or we're going to buy the house. That's what's going to happen. Follow-up is necessary when you can't get in touch with someone. So, for example, if I buy a lead and it says, I want to sell, and I call them today, then I leave them a voicemail and they don't call me back, my version of following up is I'm calling them tomorrow and the next day and the next day until they either sell me their house or they tell me no. That is the acceptable version of follow-up. But if your version of follow-up is you're having a conversation and you're not getting told no, you're not saying no, or you're not buying the house, then you're not doing something right. You're missing the objective and the point. How are you winning the day? How are you going along in your business feeling like it's acceptable to waste time on phone conversations that don't lead to a result? A result is not, we'll do this again next week or 2 weeks from now. Every single time I have one of those types of conversations with a seller where it doesn't end up in a result, that to me is a loss. It's a failure. That's why this video is called Follow Up is for Failures. I can't sit here and listen to the narratives that are spun to accept that this simple business has to be as complicated as people make it out to be. It doesn't. You don't have to sit here and cold call to get your reps in. You don't have to sit here and accept that the true money, the gold, is in follow-up, and you need to follow up with someone for 90, 120, 180 days. That to me sounds like that is a narrative spun because these people are not closers. They don't have a formula that they're following that leads to a result. The result being either you have a contract or you have a negative answer, either given by you or the seller, as to why you're not going to do business. Each person on my team knows that's the objective of each one of these calls. To me, I've always felt like the statuses that are not, hey, new lead, called no answer, the rest of them are where leads go to die. I hate it even more when we put a temperature on top of them. That's a whole different rant. When does a cold lead become a warm lead? When does a warm lead become a hot lead? One of our students inside of Titanium University told me what STOT is that's based on how many days they want to sell. Guess what? Closing dates can be amended. If they want to close 60 days from now and that's a warm lead, well, by God, it can be a hot contract. See, the gold's not in the follow-up. The gold's in closing. Okay? Getting signed contracts. That's where the gold is. That's where you win. Not in following up. My goal every time I'm on the phone with a seller is to get to a result that is yes or no, not to follow up. You guys have got to change your mindsets on this. I see it over and over and over again. Hey, I talked to 18 people today. Okay? Talked to 18 people. How many contracts did you get? Well, none today. Okay, so you got 18 no's. No, I've got to follow up this person. They were busy, this and that. You lost. On a daily basis, I average 2.5 contracts. Me, not my company. If I'm doing acquisitions, I'm getting 2.5 contracts signed per day. Do you know how many of those are coming from 6-month follow-ups? 0. Because I don't allow that to happen. Because I'm not a loser. I know how to close. I know how to get to the result. This is why the closer's formula is necessary and mandatory. Because other people teach you that it's okay to not get to a result for 180 days. Some people brag about the fact that they make the majority of their money in long-term follow-up. What happened during those 3, 4, 5, 6 months? Why weren't you closing the deal? It cannot possibly be that every seller, just 80% of your closed deals just didn't need to sell their house for 6 months. Then that's a lead generation problem. Let's go back to the source because we got to solve that problem. Or you're accepting the fact that the people that are on the phones with sellers are not getting to a result. There needs to be a standard set where you are saying, how many people did you talk to today? I talked to 25 people. Okay. How many no's were given either by you or by the seller? 23. Okay. And how many contracts did you get? 2. That is the kind of standard that we have here at Titanium. Because quite frankly, those are the only numbers that really matter to me. How many people did you talk to? How many contracts did we get signed? Because now I have something that I can monetize to dispo, to then leads to a closing, to which then leads to a wire being sent to my bank account. That's the goal. That's what we're doing here as wholesalers. You have to acquire property, dispo the property, get it to the closing, and receive money. Break it down. Simplify things. Don't get lost into this contagion that's going around inside of this industry where you're told you have to cold call, where you're told that the gold is in the follow-up. What is your follow-up sequence? What does the CRM look like? These are excuses. Plus a story. There's always the story, right? And I'm sure I can't wait to see the stories and the comments in this, right? Because this is controversial to say follow-up is for failures. I'm sure there's going to be tons of stories come out where it's, hey, I made $100,000 on a 6-month follow-up. Congratulations. Was the follow-up necessary? Or was it the decision that you made and the path that you chose and it just happened to lead to gold? Because personally, that's what I think happens. I think a lot of people end up doing follow-up. They get closes. And what they don't realize is because they didn't close along the way, maybe they could give me an example. But what we don't talk about and what's maybe missed by that person is how many deals did you miss out on that you didn't close while you were doing quote-unquote follow-up? What about the time where you talked to the person and you could have closed the deal, but you didn't because you didn't go for a result? And then the next day, I called them and I closed them and they never answered you again. We used to have a saying, virtual wholesaling. What is it? Well, it's from There Will Be Blood, the movie, where he says, I stuck my straw in your milkshake and I drank your milkshake. See, what he's talking about there is he went under the ground and he stole his neighbor's oil. That's what I've always thought about with virtual wholesaling. We come into your local market, we talk to your sellers, and we want a result. And we get the result. Maybe you were okay with the follow-up. Maybe you've got plenty of examples on how you close deals. But maybe, if you take anything away from this video, go back and just think. maybe RJ has a point. Maybe because I've been thinking it's okay, the gold is in the follow-up, and I haven't been pushing for that result to happen on that call. Maybe I missed out on a lot of deals. Maybe I do have some examples where I got gold through follow-up, but maybe there was more gold that I lost because I didn't try to close the deal. So I didn't go for the follow-up, or I didn't go for the close. I didn't go for the result. Think about that, because that's what we do. That's what we're changing the narrative here at Titanium. Forget about follow-up. Forget about all that. Let's go get some results, baby. Let me know what you think in the comments. Can't wait to see y'all stories. If you like this, leave me a positive comment. Make sure you like the video. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you.